Time now for a quick news blast from the PEP Radio Newsroom. During our first segment on this story, we shared with you the following. The anti-trans rhetoric and violence against me and others in our community have escalated since the election. Lazarus Orr, he/they pronouns, told LGBTQ Nation, I've dealt with a stalker, death threats, physical and verbal assaults, including at the state capitol. Or also works as the press relations manager at Advocates for Trans Equality, an organization that fights for equal rights for transgender people. Speaking on behalf of the organization, Orr recommends that trans people update their legal documents, as he and Imogene have done. If you're unaware of who Imogene is, just go back and listen to one of our previous episodes over on our YouTube channel. Anyway, make sure they have secured healthcare access as much as possible. Given the potential for restrictions on gender-affirming care, we encourage folks to speak with their healthcare providers to discuss and plan for possible changes in access to necessary treatments, Orr said. They also noted that many providers, such as Planned Parenthood, have developed strategies to work around these restrictions, such as providing or advising access to care in states with more supportive policies or advocating against discriminatory policies. He also said that being in community with other queer and trans people is crucial, recommending that trans people strengthen connections with your local LGBTQ plus led organizations, community members, and allies to create a support network and mutual aid movements. Community support and mutual aid groups are crucial when it comes to navigating potential challenges and advocating for rights and protection of marginalized communities. The organization also has a comprehensive trans legal survival guide advising trans people on various ways that they can legally protect themselves. Independent journalist Aaron Reed has listed Florida and Texas as do not travel states due to laws that call for either the arrest or bounty of trans people using bathrooms different than those assigned to their gender at birth, and this is something that Imogene has thought about. I would not choose, in a vacuum, to travel to most of the South and a lot of the Midwest. Imogene said she's lucky to have moved to a blue state like Massachusetts before she came out and plans on staying or only relocating to a state that has laws like Massachusetts, which protect trans people from discrimination and harassment. So, Imogene, my recommendation to you is Ontario or Quebec. Anyway, Orr and Imogene are not alone. Trans people across the country are updating their identity documents as recommended by advocacy organizations, according to NBC News. Other trans people or parents of trans children are also leaving to move to places less hostile to trans people. A Trevor Project Movement Advancement Project study this week found that 266,000 LGBTQ plus people ages 13 to 24 had relocated to more inclusive parts of the country, including states like Pennsylvania. Some queer people are even taking matters into their own hands, joining gun groups and purchasing firearms. Sydney Duncan, senior counsel to Advocate for Trans Equality, pointed out how much harder it will be for trans people to get health care under a second Trump administration. Our opponents say that trans health care is drive-through medicine and that it's easy to access and easy to get, but the reality is it's not. It's sometimes expensive. It's cost prohibitive to a lot of families, and a lot of families who rely on resources provided through the government to get these kinds of things, said Duncan in an interview with LGBTQ Nation earlier this month. You know what, folks? They're not getting them. They're simply not getting them, especially under the new Pumpkin Fuhrer regime. Well, that's all we'll cover in this segment. Come back for part 4 of this 4-part series this afternoon. We'll address what steps allies can take to make a difference, what you can do, if you haven't already, is to download the Live 365 app to take PEP Radio with you wherever you go. Now back to more music on PEP Radio.